Hello everyone, I just wanted to do a quick introduction of this application called Filmora. The reason I'm doing this is because I will be using this application in my future videos, and each time I do a new tutorial I don't want to go through this application again and again, so I can just redirect people back to this video. So if you type Filmora in the search bar, the first link should be the official website. Just click on it. It will redirect you to this page where you can download the application for free, but that would be a trial version, and every time you save the video it will have the watermark on it. If you're okay with it, then it's all good, but if it bothers you, then you probably have to buy the application. Once it's downloaded, just open the setup and then go through the process. Just click install and then wait for it to be installed. Once installed, just click start now and then it should open up. So let's just go through it step by step. So the first two options are the dimensions. 16.9 is the HD size, the standard YouTube size, and 4.3 is more like a square size. I honestly don't know what they use it for, so I would recommend 16.9. Okay, moving on. Next option is easy mode. So easy mode is basically just like a slideshow. You can just put a bunch of images and your audio, and then it will just play it simultaneously, so your image or audio, just like a basic slideshow. And then you can save it. You can even choose one of the music that they provide or some of the themes they have pre-installed. This is how a theme looks. Pretty basic stuff. If that's what you're looking for, then you can try it out. Next up we have Insert Cutter. It's basically just a trim tool if you want a certain part of your video. So all you have to do is import your file in, and then you can use these bars to select your area. So you can move from left to right and then right to left to select the area, and only this area will be saved. Once you have selected it, then you can just export it and it will be saved. Next up we have Action Cam tool. I'm not really sure what it does, but I assume it has something to do with cam, so like live cam. So I don't really think it's really necessary because I won't be going through any tutorials that involve any live cam. And the final one, and the one that we'll be using the most, is the full feature mode. Okay, so here's where things gets interesting. So this is your timeline, and this is where you import your files in. This is just the tools, transitions, and then this is your options. So first of all, media. Here you can import your files in that you'll be using in this application. You can select more than one files to bring them all in at once, and then you can just click on one file and then drag it in the timeline. This is the timeline, and the way timeline works is it kind of goes from left to right, and then whatever is on the far left will be played first, and whatever is on the right will be played last. So this is the media. You can have more than one media. So if you want your videos to overlap, then you can have more than one videos. I think it just keeps on increasing. I'm not too sure how many you can have, but I tried 4 and it will just keep on increasing. You can even have a third one if you wanted. So it just keep on adding. And this is for text, which we will go into in a minute. And the last two are for music. So here you can put music files. So you can have up to 2 music files. They don't really increase. You can only have 2. Okay, so let's just go through the options. The first option we have is undo. What it does is just, if you have accidentally done something wrong, you can just go a step back. So if you delete it, then you can just undo it and then it will come back. And the next option we have is the redo. It does the opposite. So for example, if you clicked undo twice and you only wanted to click once, then you can just click redo and then it will just come one step forward. Next we have settings. Settings only apply to the clip that is selected in the timeline. So you can change the contrast, the saturation, brightness, tints, and then these are just like pre-modes, filters. For example, Game of Thrones is gonna be really dark, so you can play around with it. 007 is like a bit brighter, and then we also have an option to auto enhance, so the computer will choose the best setting for your video. And then next we have speed. So speed basically is just how fast you want your video to play. For example, if you increase the speed, your video will play faster. And if you decrease the speed, your video will play slower. At last we have play video in reverse. It basically just plays your video backwards. Next up we have split. Split basically just works like scissors. You can cut your clip into two parts. So for example, if I want to cut this, then I just move my cursor here. So if I select my clip and then click split, now my video is in two pieces. So now there are two different clips and I can move them around separately. The split works better if you want to cut out a specific part of a video. For example, if I want to cut out this text from this video, I'll just move my cursor to where the text ends and then select my video and then split, and I can just delete this. So now the text is not anymore. And the next option is delete. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can just click and delete the file using delete. Next we have crop. So you can use this to crop your video. So what crop does is you can select a specific part in your video to cut it out. For example, if you wanted, you can just have this part and then it doesn't really show the side of the video. It will only show this part. So I know there's some confusion between split and crop. Split just kind of cuts the clips into two. It doesn't really do anything to the actual video itself. But crop actually cuts out the video. I don't know if that makes sense. So you can pick from three constraints. If you pick 4.3, it will stay in square. If you pick 16.9, it will stay in rectangle. And then you can't really freely resize it. It will always stay in that constraint. But if you pick manually, then you can resize from the top, bottom, and sides, however you like it best. Next we have freeze frame. And what it does is, for example, I'm going to click here and then freeze frame. Now it will kind of freeze for like 5 seconds. So it's useful if you want to talk about a specific character in your movie, so you can just stop for 5 seconds and then have a title on your screen, talk about it, and then the movie will continue like normal. Next up we have power tool. You can use this to blur out faces or anything in your video. For example, if you want to blur out a watermark, so just click on apply and then add, and then it should add a blur on the screen. You can move it around, change the size if you want it, and you can even use faces instead of the blur if you want it, but I don't see how the faces are going to be that useful. Next we have advanced color tuning. I wouldn't really mess with it unless I know exactly what I'm doing. It's basically just changing the temperature and tint of your video. I wouldn't really mess with it, but it's there if you are interested. Next we have set duration. You can use the cursor tool to drag left and right to increase and to decrease the time. But if you want to be really specific, then you can set the time for your clip. For example, if I want my clip to go for 15 seconds, then I can just click here and then type 15 seconds, and then my clip will increase, and then that clip will run for 15 seconds. So it should be pretty obvious, but you can't do that for videos because videos have their own timing. So you can only do this for images and text and overlays, I think. And one thing I forgot to mention is under your settings, there's an option called motion, and you can put motions in your clips. So for example, if you want your clip to zoom in while playing or go from left to right, so you can add motions to give it more depth. Next we have music, and it's just music. There isn't much to it. It's just free music provided by the application that you can use in your videos. And you'll see quite a lot of download icon on some of the music, and you'll see it on the other files as well. Basically what it means is that it's downloadable for free. If you just double click on it, and then you can download it for free. Next we have text. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just choose the text that you like, drag it in, and then you can just double click on it to edit it, and then you can type whatever you like inside it. You can even resize it. You can even rotate it, and then as you can see, these ones have download option as well, so you can just download some of these that you like. Next we have transitions, and we use transitions to have smooth transition between two clips. So for example, if I choose any transition and drag it in, so this is how it will go from one clip to another, and that's basically what transition does. Next we have filters, and you might have heard of them from Instagram. So What it does is just adds filter on top of your video, so it just kind of stylizes your video. So you can choose any filter that you like and then drag it in, and then it will change your video, how your video looks. Next we have overlays. It's kind of like filters, but they're more like movable effects on top of your video. So you can just choose any and then drag it in, and this is how it looks. Next we have elements. So they're basically movable elements on top of your screen. So you can't really edit the text inside them, but you can resize it if you like. I really like this heart one, so I'm just gonna download it and then drag it in, and this is how it looks. I really like it. It's pretty cool. Next we have split screen. So you can have more than one screen on your video. So for example, you can choose from 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 6, I think. So just click and drag it in, and then you can choose any of your media and then click and drag on one and then click and drag on two. So now you have 2 clips on one screen. You can even choose where you want your video to start from. So you can just select from here to choose where you want your video to start from, and then once you're happy with it, just click OK. You can even choose 3 screens to be played at the same time. So I'm just gonna select this 3 one and then drag it in and choose 1, 2, 3, and this is how it looks. And the last option is export. It's basically just exporting your video. Here you can choose the format for your video. I will recommend MP4, your name of the file, and destination. So if you go in settings, you can pick the quality of your video. The better the quality, the bigger the size would be. The rest you can just leave it like that. I wouldn't really mess with it unless you know what you're doing. It usually select the best settings for you depending on the quality. So you just select the settings and then click export. And here are some of the general tools. So this is the preview where you preview your files. This is the timeline. This goes step back, this goes a step forward, play button, stop button, recording, screenshot to capture the screen. Here you can adjust the volume for your video. And this is just full screen. Here you can zoom in and out of your timeline. This is just zooming 1 notch up, 1 notch down. And this just fits the timeline on your screen. Here you can play with the audio settings, bitrate and whatnot, but I wouldn't really recommend it. And you can go in easy mode and advanced mode. And this button plays your video smoother. And that's pretty much it. I hope this video was helpful and hopefully I covered everything. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below if I was speaking too fast or too slow, or if there was something that you didn't understand, so I can improve it. And other than that, have a nice day and I will catch you guys later.